A minute book is one of the most important books that you can have inside of your corporation. It's really, really, really important that you have one. What it is that it's essentially a permanent and detailed record of all the corporation's rules, activities, decisions. So I'm going to show you what that looks like because a lot of people actually have no idea what a minute book is. I pulled out 2 different books for you from our office to show you exactly what the book is. So these are just samples of what it could potentially look like. You could either have a book that looks like this, or you could have one that's more of a binder and a slipcover, and it'll look something like this. So this one will just slide out. Both of them are great. Both of them are minute books. Now, what the minute book is in its nature is, like I said, it covers all of the corporation's rules, activities, decisions, all of that will be in there. The second question we always get asked by our clients is, do I actually need one of these books? Is it really important? And my answer to them is always a big yes. You definitely need one. You need one for a few reasons. First of all, it's obligatory. If you don't have one, you could actually be fined by the government. All the provincial Quebec laws and the federal laws actually oblige corporations to have a book inside of the head office of the corporation that has all of the corporation's rules, activities, decisions. So this is actually an obligation that you have by law to have one. Now, the second reason why it's so important and why it's so vital to the existence of your business is because a minute book is a tool that will be used throughout your business depending at what stage you're at. Especially when you are growing your business and trying to scale your business, you will start making some really large deals inside of your company. For example, you might decide that you want to sell your business, or you want to do a joint venture, or you're going to seek professional advice, like you're going to go see a lawyer or an accountant. You might be audited by the government. You may want to secure funding from the government. So in all these cases, they will ask to see a copy of your minute book. And if you don't have one, it could literally be detrimental to your deal. So you might actually just completely lose out, or you might be fined by the government for not having one. Today I'm going to run through everything that's covered inside of this book and all of the documents that you'll find in there. One of the first things you'll find inside your minute book are your articles of incorporation. I gave a little bit more detailed information in my first video about what articles of incorporation are, but you would find a copy of them inside your minute book. You'll have the names of all the directors, the shareholders, you'll have a list of the head office of the company, and then you'll have your 4 annexes. Description of the share capital structure, the restrictions on the transfer of securities, the limits on the activities of the corporation, and the other provisions of the corporation. So that's going to be the first document that you'll find inside your book. Now, the next thing that you'll have in there is you will have your general bylaw. The bylaw of the corporation will really talk about how the voting works in the company. How do you kick out someone? How do you keep someone in? How do you replace a director? All of that will be inside the bylaw. Now, depending on your company, you may have a more general bylaw, or you may ask your lawyer to draft you a more customizable bylaw depending on the nature of your business. So that really ultimately depends on the corporation itself. The next thing after that you'll always find inside your book are your initial resolutions. Your initial resolutions are what basically adopt and ratify the corporation. You're going to elect the directors, you're going to elect the officers, you're going to issue shares to your shareholders, you will ratify the head office address, you will ratify the bylaws. It's a very administrative type of resolution. It's not a very exciting resolution, but it's one that's just going to run through everything in the company and it's just going to accept and ratify everything. In that same section, you will then, subsequently to those initial resolutions, have all your yearly resolutions in there. So every year you'll draft 1 yearly resolution that will go inside the book. And with that, you'll also have all the other resolutions that are taking the corporation. So all the other decisions that you've taken. For example, let's say you change the name of the company, or you change your office address, or you have a new shareholder coming in and you have a share purchase agreement, or the corporation takes out a loan and you have a loan agreement. Anything like that, any decision that you take inside the company, it will go inside this section, and you'll always have a board of directors resolution and a shareholders resolution that accepts that new change that you're making or the new decision that you took. After that, you're going to have 3 different sections that are essentially ledgers. So you'll have your shareholders ledger, your officers ledger, and your board of directors ledgers. Sounds very complicated, but it's absolutely not. So all it is that it's just a list. It names every single director, every single officer, every single shareholder, when they came in and when they left. So it's super simple. And that one you want to make sure that you're always updating. So if ever someone comes in or leaves, that date is always there. So if anyone were to pick up your book, they should be able to know from A to Z exactly what happened inside the company and who was responsible. and who should be taking the decisions, really most importantly. After that, you'll always have a securities ledger. The securities ledger basically explains who each shareholder is, what class of shares they have, how many shares they have, what the amount of each share is. That's what you'll find in there. Typically speaking, when you're dealing with a corporation that's been in existence for a long time, you'll notice that in this ledger, they're gonna have a lot of transfers happening. And that usually is done for tax efficient purposes. Here you'll see a lot of shuffling happening in the shares. So you always wanna know how many shares does this shareholder have, and at what date did they have this many shares, etc. The last thing that you'll find inside the book are your share certificates. So this basically evidences the ownership of the shares inside the company. Each shareholder will have a certificate explaining how many shares they have of a specific class. And that's the actual property that they have. This is their asset that they have inside the company. If you have more than one partner or more than one shareholder in the company, you'll also put inside your book your shareholders agreement. So you'll just have a copy in there for reference, and that one will list all the what if questions, how you're going to deal with them, and all that good stuff, which we'll talk about in another video. That's it for our segment today. I hope you got some really good information from it. If ever you have questions, if you're not sure how to make a minute book or you want more information on it, I do have a whole blog post on this on the website. You could also always call us at the office or email us. It would be our absolute pleasure to help you.